Hi children, good evening one and all. In today's class, we will discuss regarding evaporation and vaporization and few other concepts. What are the difference between evaporation and vaporization? What is evaporation? What is vaporization? What is the difference? Okay, when the water is going to be evaporate, when the body at what temperature the water is going to be vaporized, we will discuss one by one in detail. You will get clarity regarding that concept. See now, liquid can change into vapor in two main ways. Liquid will changes into gaseous state in two different ways. One is evaporation, the other is vaporization. There is a difference between evaporation and vaporization. We see what is evaporation and what is vaporization. In case of evaporation, it will happen only on the surface of the liquid. It happens only on the surface of the liquid. If the surface of the liquid is spread to a larger extent, then there is a possibility of large amount of water to evaporate. For example, if you take water in a glass and if you take water in a bowl and keep it outside, in bowl large amount of area is large amount of the area will be attached to the air. Generally the air moves above the glass as well as above the bowl. Where there is large amount of motion of air takes place will be on the బౌల్. గిన్నె పైన గిన్నె ప్లేస్ అనేది చాలా పెద్దగా ఉంటుంది గ్లాస్తో పోలిస్తే. గ్లాస్ ఏరియా అనేది చిన్నది కాబట్టి దానిపైన ఉన్న ఏరియా కొంత లిక్విడ్ని మాత్రమే తీసుకోపోతుంది, సర్ఫేస్ మీద ఉండే లిక్విడ్ని. అదే బౌల్లో మనం వేసినాం అనుకోండి, గిన్నెలో ఎక్కువ ఏరియాని కవర్ చేస్తుంది. దానిపైన ఉన్న ఉన్న లిక్విడ్ అనేది, ఎయిర్ అనేది ఎక్కువ లిక్విడ్ని తీసుకెళ్తుంది అనమాట. సో ఎవాపరేషన్ ఈజ్ ఏ సర్ఫేస్ ఫినామినన్. గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, సర్ఫేస్ పైన ఉన్న లిక్విడ్ మాత్రమే ఎవాపరేట్ అవుతుంది. నెక్స్ట్, కెన్ హ్యాపెన్ అట్ ఎనీ టెంపరేచర్. దిస్ ఎవాపరేషన్ టేక్స్ ప్లేస్ అట్ ఎనీ టెంపరేచర్. ఏ టెంపరేచర్ వద్ద అయినా ఎవాపరేషన్ అయ్యే ఛాన్స్ అనేది ఉందన్నమాట. నో బబుల్స్ ఆర్ ఫార్మ్డ్ ఇన్ కేస్ ఆఫ్ ఎవాపరేషన్. లిక్విడ్ బాయిల్ అవ్వదు, ఇట్ డజంట్ బాయిల్, ఇట్ టెంపరేచర్ డస్ నాట్ ఇంక్రీజెస్. So no bubbles are going to be takes place in case of evaporation, and it is a slow process. And the best example for evaporation is wet cloths dry in the sun. Okay, this is the example. Now go for vaporization. Vaporization is nothing but boiling, we call. There is the other name for vaporization is boiling. Boiling. So it happens throughout the liquid. లిక్విడ్ మొత్తం బాయిలింగ్ అనేది జరుగుతుంది అనమాట. అంటే ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీ మాలిక్యూల్ ఇన్ ద లిక్విడ్, ద బౌల్లో ఉండే లిక్విడ్ మొత్తము వాటి యొక్క బబుల్ టెంపరేచర్ అనేది చేంజ్ అవుతుంది. దేర్ ద టెంపరేచర్ ఇస్ గోయింగ్ టు బి చేంజ్ అకర్స్ అట్ ఫిక్స్డ్ టెంపరేచర్. జనరలీ దిస్ బాయిలింగ్ టేక్స్ ప్లేస్ అట్ ఫిక్స్డ్ టెంపరేచర్. ఒక ఫిక్స్డ్ టెంపరేచర్లోనే ఈ బాయిలింగ్ అనేది జరుగుతుంది అనమాట. దిస్ బాయిలింగ్ టేక్స్ ప్లేస్ అట్ fixed temperature, right? So generally the boiling point of water is 100 degrees centigrade. Remember that 100 degrees centigrade is the boiling temperature of water. Here bubbles are going to be formed. Bubbles are going to be takes place in case of this vaporization. Faster process. Evaporation is a slow process and this is faster process. Water boiling in kettle is an example of boiling. So factors affecting evaporation. What are the factors that affect evaporation? Higher temperature makes evaporation faster. I mean, in compared to winter or rainy season, in summer season the evaporation takes place faster. In summer season the cloths will dry quickly. And more wind speed. If the wind speed is more, if you get much air, evaporation will be more, because large amount of the air will takes away the large amount of moisture present on the cloths. So more wind and larger surface area. If the surface area is going to be increased larger, because more surface means more evaporation takes place. Much amount of the air will take away this evaporation, this air, water. And nature of the liquid. Some liquid evaporates faster compared to the other liquids. For example, water. Water will evaporate faster than compared to oil. Right? Oil will not evaporate faster. Its thickness is much. Its density is much. So its evaporation is less. That depends upon the liquid. So finally, we can differentiate evaporation and boiling. Evaporation and boiling, we can differentiate them. First one, where it happens. Evaporation happens only on the surface of the liquid, but vaporization takes place throughout the liquid. Temperature, it occurs at any temperature. I mean, evaporation occurs at any temperature, but this vaporization occurs only at fixed temperature. That fixed temperature we call it as boiling point. Bubble formation, in case of evaporation, no bubble formation takes place, and in case of vaporization, bubbles are going to be formed. Speed, generally the evaporation is a slow process and vaporization is a quick process or fast process. Example, water from the wet cloths turn into vapor is an example for evaporation, and boiling of water in a kettle or boiling of water in a bowl turns into steam is an example for vaporization. So remember children, evaporation can happen at any temperature, but boiling will happen at fixed temperature. That fixed temperature we call it as boiling point. Okay. Boiling is faster because bubbles are formed and rises quickly, and evaporation increases with, when the evaporation going to be increased with more heat, more wind and more surface area. In order to have a quick evaporation, we have to have much wind, much surface area and much heat. Okay, both the changes are useful and are natural. Next we go for periodic and non-periodic changes. Changes that repeat again and again at regular interval of time are called periodic changes. That should be repeat again and again. The best example is swinging of clock pendulum in period is a periodic change. In clock there will be pendulum. The pendulum is going to be swing to and fro regularly. So this is a periodic change. And phases of moon, new moon is also a periodic change. Phases of moon, new moon day, after 15 days we will get full moon day, again after 15 days you are going to get new moon day. Likewise this cycle is going to be repeated periodically. So this is also an example of periodic change. And changes in season is also a periodic. Spring season after spring, summer after rainy after winter, then again spring and then again summer season. Around 3 months, for every 3 months you are going to get the, so change of season is a periodic change. It is a periodic change. After spring we are going to get summer after rainy after winter. Periodic changes happen again and again. These will happen ఇవి ఒకసారి జరిగి ఆగిపోవడం లేదు, మళ్ళీ జరుగుతాయి అన్నమాట. పౌర్ణమి తర్వాత అమావాస్య తర్వాత మళ్ళీ పౌర్ణమి. సో దీస్ ఆర్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ రెగ్యులర్గా జరుగుతాయి. అండ్ ఇన్ డెఫినెట్ టైం ఇంటర్వెల్ దే విల్ బి కాల్డ్ యాజ్ పీరియాడిక్ చేంజ్. దే ఆర్ న్యాచురల్ అండ్ ప్రెడిక్టబుల్. ఇది మనిషి ఎవరు చేయడం లేదు. ఇట్ ఈస్ ఇన్ నేచర్, ఇట్ ఈస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ యాక్చువల్లీ. నో హ్యూమన్ బీయింగ్ ఈస్ డూయింగ్ ఆల్ దీస్ థింగ్స్. ఓకే, సో ఇట్ ఈస్ అకరింగ్ ఇన్ నేచర్ అండ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ వన్స్ అగైన్ ప్రిడిక్టబుల్. మనం ప్రిడిక్ట్ చేయొచ్చు అన్నమాట. డే అండ్ నైట్, సన్ రైజ్ అండ్ సన్సెట్, tides, heartbeat, these are all come under periodic changes. So, once again, there are few other non-periodic changes. Some are non-periodic changes. Those are ripening of fruits. A fruit ripens once only, once in a time. It does not repeatedly ripens. Once it ripens, after that it will once again become raw fruit and then once again ripen. It will not do like that. ఒక్కసారి పండైంది కాయ ఉంది కాయ పండైంది అంటే మళ్ళీ పండు కాయ కాదు. Okay, that is not repeatedly happening. So it is called as non-periodic. Some changes happen once or at irregular intervals. Maybe it happened once and maybe it happened in irregularly, not regularly. One more is building a house. Generally, we are going to build a house once only in lifetime, right? If you have too much of money, you may build two, thrice, not more than that. Lifelong, you are not going to build the house. Okay, it is not repeated. So it is a non-periodic change. Next, breakage of glass, that is brittle and when glass breaks, it does not happen again and again. It won't come back as glass and once again it is breaking, okay, then coming back. So it doesn't do like that. Okay, these are all called as non-periodic changes. Next, some more non-periodic changes. I mean, these are not happening regularly, especially earthquakes, the shaking of ground due to the movement inside the earth. Inside the earth, there will be movement. Okay, so from that you are going to get earthquakes. These will happen occasionally. We cannot predict them. Okay. Next, landslides during the rainy season. Heavy rains causes the soil and rocks from the hills to slide down suddenly. These will also happen occasionally. They will not happen regularly. Even leaves fall in autumn but not regular or fixed time. Of course, in autumn season the leaves are going to be formed, but that time we cannot predict. Only at this point of time the leaves are going to be formed, right? So that is also not regular time. Even rusting of iron articles get rusted when they react with air and moisture. It takes lot of time, not in a single day or single hour, right? It takes much time, and that depends upon the reaction of water and air, reaction with water and air of iron. Next, sneezing or coughing. This also takes place. Cold and infections due to dust particles. And these are also not in regularly. Regularly we won't get it. It often, occasionally you are going to get it. You cannot predict when you are going to get, right? And so these are all come under non-periodic changes. They will come in irregular timings. They won't come in regular timings. You cannot predict them. They do not repeat and do not follow a fixed pattern. They don't have fixed pattern. And many changes in nature in our daily life are non-periodic. Mostly non-periodic changes you are going to get. Many changes are non-periodic. Next, periodic changes in nature, that is phases of the moon. In nature, few things happen again and again after the fixed interval of time. That is new moon, waxing crescent, first quarter, waxing gibbous. So these are the changes of the moon. Full moon, again coming back to waxing gibbous, so that the size of the moon is going to be reduced. Next half, it becomes half, it becomes quarter and becomes new moon day. This cycle repeats every month. Once in a month this cycle is going to be repeated. The moon revolves around the sun in a fixed path. The sunlight falls on the moon in a regular pattern. So the phases of the moon repeats in regular interval. So this is a periodic change. The full moon and new moon come after definite time gap. So they can be predicted. After 15 days you are going to get new moon. After 15 days you are going to get full moon. Likewise, you can predict them. So this is called as a periodic change. See, this is very important topic in our chemistry, that is exothermic and endothermic changes. Generally, children will get lot of confusion in this. What is exothermic? What is endothermic? Definitely, I will clear your doubts, right? See, what are exothermic and endothermic? When once chemical reaction takes place, there is a possibility that energy can be released to the surroundings or energy can be absorbed from the surroundings. These are the things which is happening in case of a chemical reaction. Either the energy released to the atmosphere or energy will be absorbed from the atmosphere. We go one by one. That is exothermic. Exothermic is one, the energy is released in the form of heat. In the form of heat, when once one chemical reaction takes place, after that some sort of heat is going to be released to the atmosphere. Such phenomenon we call it as exothermic reaction. Due to that heat, the surroundings become warm. So that is called as exothermic reaction. Examples of exothermic reaction are burning of wood, burning of that is LPG, liquefied petroleum gas, burning of coal, burning of acids and bases, running of acids and bases, evaporation of alcohol or perfume. These are all come under the examples of exothermic changes. In this, the heat is going to be released. There are few changes that will be called as endothermic, where in this the heat is going to be absorbed. Okay, energy is going to be absorbed in the form of heat. In both the cases, heat is common factor. Remember that. Either heat is going to be absorbed or heat is going to be released. Heat release, the chemical equation which the chemical reaction which releases heat, we call it as exothermic reaction. The chemical reaction, after the reaction, the heat is absorbed. We call it as while the reaction or after the reaction. When the heat is absorbed, we call it as endothermic reaction. Example, melting of ice. Okay, how ice gets melted by absorbing heat. When ice absorbs heat, then only it gets melted. Evaporation of water, transpiration in plants, dissolving ammonium chloride in water, instant cold packs. These are all come under endothermic reactions. Okay, exothermic reactions, they generally release the heat energy to the surroundings. So these are the examples. Endothermic reactions are those reactions absorb heat energy from the surroundings. So this is the thing you have to keep it in mind. These are the basics. Next we go for desirable and undesirable changes. What are desirable changes? What are undesirable changes? Changes happen all around us. Some are good and helpful, and some are harmful and cause problems. The changes which are good and helpful to the human beings or helpful to the nature are called desirable changes. The changes that occur and which are harmful and which cause problem, those changes which cause problem, they will be called as undesirable changes. Desirable changes are useful and beneficial changes in our daily life. Example, setting of milk into curd, milk converting into curd, which is useful. Ripening of fruits, cooking of food, germination of seeds, construction of building, drying of cloths. These are all come under, these are helpful to the human beings. So they will be listed under desirable changes. They make our life better, comfortable and help in growth and development. Then regarding undesirable changes, these are harmful and unwanted changes and which cause problems to the society. Okay, that is earthquakes, deforestation, floods, spoiling of food, pollution, burning of matchstick. They create the problems, so they will be called as undesirable changes which are very harmful to the society. Next one, rusting an undesirable change. We have discussed a few concepts in the past slide, that is desirable and undesirable changes. In this, one of the form is rusting, which is an undesirable change. Why? Oxygen is very important for living beings, but did you know it can also damage some materials? Can you imagine that? Generally, when we thought about oxygen, it is very useful to human beings and it is essential. If you don't get oxygen even a single minute or twice, we will die. Okay, within 2 to 3 minutes, if you won't get oxygen supply to our body, we will definitely die. Such an important thing the oxygen is. Okay, without oxygen we cannot live. But from that oxygen there are some disadvantages also. What are the? It reacts with iron and causes what is known as rusting. See what happens when iron is left outside. In day one, the iron object is new and shiny. It seems to be very shiny. After few days, it starts to react with oxygen and moisture in the air. If you keep the iron nail as it is on a window, near the window where there may be any other place, okay. So what happens? It starts rusting. For more days later, after 10 to 15 days, it just convert into brown color flakes begin and appear on the surface after 10, 15 or 20 days. After many days, around 2 to 3 months like that, the flakes means rust, cover on the iron object. And what is rust? Rust is brown flaky substance. It is actually hydrated oxide of iron. Iron hydrated oxide, iron oxide. We call it as rust. Okay. Right. The process is called rusting. Rusting is a slow process, very slow process, in which the iron reacts with oxygen moisture in the air to form brown flaky substance called rust. Flaky substance means somewhat soft substance. It won't be hard. It won't be hard like iron. Okay, we should protect the iron objects by painting, oiling, grease or galvanization to prevent from rusting. In order to prevent the iron from rusting, you have to use some more methods. In our future chapters, we will learn all these types of methods in order to prevent iron from rusting. Definitely we will learn. When iron comes in contact with the oxygen and moisture, slowly it gets damaged. This process we call it as rusting. This is the simple definition. You can write the definition of its own, right? Whatever may be the definitions you will be feel easy, you can learn such kind of definition. So conditions for rusting. In order to have rust, in order iron to get rusted, the condition is it should react with air, I mean oxygen which is present in the air, and also moisture, water content present in the air. If it reacts with both those air and moisture, it gets rusted. Okay, so painting, important methods to prevent rusting, that is painting, oiling or greasing, galvanization and converting stainless steel, converting iron into stainless steel. So just we know what is what. Here in future classes we will learn in depth regarding this. Painting, a layer of paint protects iron from air and moisture. For iron, if you paint it, that paint will protect iron from rusting. Or next one is oil or grease. Oil or grease keeps air and water away from the iron. If you keep oil or grease to the iron materials, so that it won't directly react with the air or water which is atmosphere, which is present in the atmosphere. And galvanization means coating with zinc. Okay, iron coating with zinc, it protects iron from rusting. Next, converting into stainless steel. When iron is converted into stainless steel, it does not rust easily. These are the different kinds of processes. We will learn in detail regarding this in further classes. Okay, children. Up to this, our class is completed actually, but we will learn a beautiful concept which we daily observe, but we may don't know. Lot of, even me, I don't know, right? I got this information. Okay, I would like to share with you. See now, do you know why do cats have cats? I mean cat. Cats have whiskers. What are those? Whiskers means what? Cats will have this hair. Okay, this hair around the mouth. We call it as whisker. WHISKERS. So what is the use of that whisker? Of course, in our home we will have cats. Don't try to cut that whisker. They just like mustache for our men. Okay, like that. But you should not cut them. They are very useful to the cat. We will now in this particular class we will learn few advantages of this, few uses of this whiskers. Whiskers are not just for decoration, they are very sensitive. Okay, they help them know if they can fit. See, they help cats measure spaces and check if they can fit through small gaps. See, while cat is moving, these whiskers what they do, they will first ఆ విస్కర్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో ఫస్ట్ అవి ముందుకెళ్ళినప్పుడు ఆ చిన్న గ్యాప్లో ఆ విస్కర్స్ పడితేనే ఈ మొత్తం క్యాట్ పడుతుంది అనమాట. అంటే వాటి యొక్క వెంట్రుకలు అది క్లీన్గా పట్టాలి. ఆ గ్యాప్ చూసుకొని ఆ క్యాట్ మూవ్ అవ్వడానికి ఈ విస్కర్స్ అనేవి హెల్ప్ చేస్తాయి. ఓకేనా, ఆ విస్కర్స్ పట్టకుండా మూవ్ కాకపోతే క్యాట్ ఆ ప్లేస్లో మూవ్ అయ్యే కాదు. సో అందుకోసం అవి హెల్ప్ చేస్తాయి అనమాట. ఆ విస్కర్స్ నీట్గా ఆ చిన్న గ్యాప్లో పడుతున్నాయి అంటే సో దట్ క్యాట్ మొత్తం మూవ్ అవుతుంది. సో దట్ ఈస్ ఫస్ట్ అడ్వాంటేజ్. ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్, ఇన్ ద డార్క్ విస్కర్స్ హెల్ప్ ద క్యాట్స్ టు డిటెక్ట్ నియర్ బై ఆబ్జెక్ట్స్. ఆ విస్కర్స్ ముందుంటాయి కాబట్టి నైట్ టైంలో ఫుల్ చీకటిగా ఉన్నప్పుడు ఏదైనా తగిలితే ఫస్ట్ వచ్చి ఆ విస్కర్స్కి తగులుతాయి. ఓకే, అంటే ఆ వెంట్రుకలకి తగులుతాయి. టచ్ అయితే క్యాట్ అప్పుడు జాగ్రత్త పడుతుంది. ఓహో ఏదో ఉంది, మనం ముందుకు పోకూడదు ఇంకా అన్నట్టు. సో ఆ విధంగా నైట్ టైం హెల్ప్ చేస్తుంది. దే ఆల్సో హెల్ప్ క్యాట్స్ బ్యాలెన్స్ వైల్ జంపింగ్ ఆర్ వాకింగ్. అవి నడిచేటప్పుడు జంప్ చేసేటప్పుడు ఆ బ్యాలెన్స్ చేయడానికి ఆ విస్కర్స్ హెల్ప్ చేస్తాయి. విస్కర్స్ కెన్ సెన్స్ టైనీ ఎయిర్ మూమెంట్స్ అరౌండ్ దెమ్. దాని చుట్టూ ఉన్న చిన్న ఎయిర్ మూమెంట్ని కూడా ఆ విస్కర్స్ అనేవి, ఈవెన్ సమ్ స్మాల్ ఇన్సెక్ట్స్ ఏమైనా అవ్వపోయినా కూడా ఫస్ట్ ఆ విస్కర్స్ అనేవి డిటెక్ట్ చేస్తాయి అన్నమాట. దిస్ మేక్ క్యాట్ ఎక్సలెంట్ హంటర్ ఈవెన్ అట్ ద నైట్ టైం. బ్యాలెన్సింగ్ కూడా యూజ్ అవుతుంది. సో నాకు చాలా బాగా నచ్చింది ఇది. దిస్ ఈజ్ ఎ వెరీ గుడ్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. ఐ వుడ్ లైక్ టు షేర్ విత్ యూ. ఓకే, ఎనీహౌ, bye children. In the next class we will meet. Don't forget to share our channel, share and subscribe our channel, right? Bye.